Welcome back, Renegades. Today we got some gameplay with green, purple limb in OP09. We got Dopey, black, yellow Luffy, Boa, Shanks, and Bonney. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. If you like the content, your friends may as well. Alright, let's get into it. So, green, purple limb is a technical deck. It's a ramp deck, but it is very technical, so you have to sequence things correctly in order to get the max usage of your characters and effects. Black Yellow Luffy likes to go down to 0 life as soon as possible to get its leader effect to start cycling with the little ones, the geckos, bouncing character, or switching in between their life and their field, boosting their leader. Alright, so we have a 2K ace, we have the Monkey D. Luffy, the Usopp, the Sanji, and the Doflamingo blocker. So Lin likes to go first, is what I'm. That's what I've been testing it as, going first, so we get the 3 Dawn and being able to utilize the effect as soon as possible. So here we're going to pressure 5 into the life. I'm not really, like, with Black Yellow Luffy, you don't want to pressure them too early, but with everything of ours coming in rested, we kind of need to make sure. Our goal is to try to get their hand size down a little bit, but they're going to take the life. So we do play out the Doflamingo blocker, rested, because all her characters come in rested regardless if you're playing them through the effect or if you're just playing them from hand. Now, in the next set, OP10, we do get a 1-drop limb that does make this deck a lot more viable. They also get some more tools with different characters. So we'll definitely be revisiting Limb in OP10. But right now we're just kind of finishing up our OP09 meta with our gameplays of the meta leaders versus meta leaders, and then some rogue decks that I find fun and interesting facing off against meta leaders as well. So the opponent is going to play out a Hayori, takes the bottom life, and I get to put a life, or a card from their life, our hand onto their life, and then we're assuming it's going to be, yep. So we're going to assume it's going to be one of the big brothers, because they played out Little Ace, brought in Big Ace, which now has Rush, because they're at 1 life. Their leader's at 7, so we'd have to give them a 2K to protect this. We're going to. Now they have another 7K swing, so we have to give them 2 1Ks. We're going to give them a Luffy and a Usopp. So that is like one of the downsides to Lim, is it doesn't have a lot of 2Ks available like in paper right now, unless you have access to some of the promos. So here we're going to pressure 9 into that ace with our Doflamingo. See if they want to give us 3K worth of counter. They don't. So we're going to use Lim's effect here to ramp. We're just going to put in, we just need another body down. We're going to put the Sanji, and we can't pressure life. Can't do really anything. So Sanji says on KO, you may put the top or bottom card of your life into your hand. Then you get to choose one of your 4 or lower characters with Odyssey or Straw Hat from your trash and play it as rested. So it's another way to, like, a little bit of recursion for the deck. Sanji's pretty good, and he's a 5/6 with a 1K counter, so he's decently statted. Looks like the opponent still has 8 cards in hand. We have a Monkey D. Luffy and a Sabo. The Sabo's pretty good for kind of refilling your hand up, but it's really hard to protect when it hits the field rested. And especially with the state of the game right now, we only have 2 cards, one being a Sabo. So the opponent plays out their Sabo blocker, drawing 2, trashing 2. So they're going to go 6 into life here. We're going to take that just to try to get some more card options. Passing it back to us. So our Sanji did survive the rotation. We're at 9 light or 9 dawn here. So we're going to put 3 onto our Doflamingo. Go 9 into 5 here. They only have 1 life and 1 blocker. So I take that hit. We still have a couple swings, so we're going to try to pressure game here, going 9, 9, and 8. They have a blocker, so they only technically have to get out of 1 counter, or 1 hit. But that's going to get down their hand size, which is our goal. Because Black Yellow Luffy does run a lot of 1Ks. So we want to eat their hand up as much as possible. They do have a decent amount of 2Ks as well. So here they gave us like 3 cards to get out of that hit. And now we have Lim. We're debating if we want to... Yeah, we're checking their life, see what they had. We're going to put 3 on Lim, and we're going to pressure again. We're going to go 8. See if they want to give us the last bit of hand or the blocker. They gave us a blocker. We're going to pass turn. Our Doflamingo does ready. So opponent's at 8 Dawn now, so the Gecko is not viable. But they do have double Sabo Kids from hand, and now they get to use their leader effect. And they got double Sabo, so that's pretty good. They're going to be able to filter a lot of cards. They're going to put up a nice defense. But once again, we still have, well, we'll have 2 swings because if they pressure board here, well, that's going to be a 9. Yeah, Luffy's going to be sitting as a 9K leader on our turn, so that's going to take a lot of Dawn investment to get over their hand size, forcing them to use the blocker. So 13 into 6 here, we're going to take that. We're going to give them that life, or that Sanji, so we could get a life and get an Usopp back. So we have another, so we still have another swing, essentially. But they're at 9K leader. We have 10 Dawn. We're starting to accumulate some cards in hand now. So we're going to put 5 on Doflamingo and go 11 into 9. See if they want to counter. If they have a 2 and a 1, they're good. If not, they'll give us a blocker. And now we have another 5K swing. We can add 5 more Dawn. We're going to go 10. That's only a 2K or 2 1K, so we're just trying to get their hand out of the way. Or their blocker. That's really the only goal we have for this turn. Because we know we really can't go for game. So they did give us the last bit of cards from hand. So they have no life. They have no hand size. 1 blocker. But with Black Yellow Luffy, it's just 1 Gecko away from resetting. So we just got to keep applying the pressure, forcing the opponent to make the hard decisions, whether they want to, pressure with everything they can or wall up. If they want to wall up, that's good for us. We'll just keep crashing into the wall. So here they're double Sabo back into life. They have no cards in hand, so they can't play out a Sabo. So we're just going to try to get those Sabos out of life into the bottom of their deck. So they're going to go 5 into life with a Garp. We're just going to give them a counter. We have plenty of 1Ks in hand. And if they want to utilize their Dawn to make the small swings viable, that's perfect for us. So here they're going to go with another 5 with the Flampy. That's just another 1K. They still have a 7. So they are going to use their blocker here. So we're going to counter out. Assuming the opponent sees the writing on the wall. They're going to go 8 into 5. We're going to take this. So we have 3 good swings. They have no cards in hand, so the first one's just a chip in for 5. The second one's a chip in for 5, and then the 6. We don't even need to use any Dawn investment here. We're just 5, 5, and then the Doflamingo will finish it off. Alright, so the opponent chooses to go second, which is probably the better option for Bonney. So we took a mulligan, and we have 2 Audios, Limb Searcher, a Sanji, and a Sabo. Let's get our Dawn, passing it back to the opponent. Opponent just passes it back. Now we're at 3, so we're going to go 5 into life with Limb. Get that first chip in, see if we can get us a counter or a life. They gave us a life. Using Limb's effect to rest 3, ramp 1, and then find play a character Odyssey 5 or less. We play out the Searcher, getting us a 5-drop Doflamingo blocker. They're going to play out their Yorugi blocker, who also readies a Dawn at their end of their turn. So Bonney swinging into Limb character. We're going to give him a 1K here, keep that alive. Alright, we get another Doflamingo blocker, which is great. So we're going to put 3 on our leader and go 8 into 5 because we know that they're going to rest our attack. They take that hit, and now we're going to use the effect again to put out a Doflamingo. So at the end, if we have 2 or more rested characters, we get to set him as active. Limb has the effect as well, but you need 3. So the Limb deck, the Odyssey Limb deck does get better in OP10. We get a couple of new tools to utilize, which makes the deck extremely viable. So the opponent plays out a Cavendish using their free Dawn to pressure into that Limb there. We have a couple 2Ks, a 1K. We have the blocker. We're going to save it here. The more bodies we can keep on the field, the harder it's going to be for Bonney to be able to rest everything and us being able to get some chips in. So we're at 9 Dawn right now. So we're gonna go 6 with our blocker. They're gonna rest probably limb the character. Yep. So 6 and a 5 here. They have a blocker or they can give us a 2K, which they did. Now we're gonna play our 9-drop Adios, which gives us 3 active Dawn back. We're gonna use 2 of it to get another 7K swing. So the limb character needs 3 or more rested, so we should be able to set our limb and our Doflamingo both active this turn at the end of the turn if we do it correctly, which we did. The limb deck is a very technical deck, so you gotta like sequence things correctly in order to maximize the effectiveness of the characters. Like you need to have so many rested before to get the effect down. So they're gonna go 6 into 5 here with the Cavendish after playing an 8-drop kid because they want to get some Dawn back. So they're gonna probably focus our attention to the kid. We did use our Adios effect or once per turn to rest the Dawn to give something 2K buff. We choose to go first here. Play out our Law Searcher, getting a Sanji, passing it to the opponent. They play out a Buggy, placing cards on top of their deck there. So we have a Sanji, a couple Luffys, an Usopp, a Huke Sanji, and we just played Rosinante, or drew Rosinante here. So we're going to swing with the 2K Law here, so we have a rested character. And we're going to play the effect of Limb, ramping, resting, playing out the Luffy to rest on the Buggy and pressuring it. So Luffy has on play, if you have 2 or more rested characters, you can rest the Dawn or one of your opponent's characters with like a cost 5 or less or something like that. So the opponent counters out here. Surprisingly, that was a lot of counter. So the opponent's going to put their Dawn on their leader, going 9 into our rested Luffy. We're going to give them some counter to save it, just to have another body on field. Drawing into a 2K Ace here. We're up to 6 Dawn. So we're going to put 1 on Luffy and chip into life for 7 into 5. They take that hit. Going to use Limb's effect here to play down another Luffy to rest that Buggy. We're going to try to pressure that Buggy again with the Law this time. We're going to go 4. They took it. And then we're going to chip 5 into life. They take that life, passing it back to the opponent. We don't have many cards in hand. We have a 2K and a Rosinante blocker. Opponent's at 6 Dawn, 6 cards in hand, 3 life. The Luffys are nice 6K, so the opponent will have to invest Dawn in order to chip into pressuring any of the Luffys. So they're going to go 10 into the 1 Luffy. We're going to give that one up. And they play out a Law blocker here. We draw into a Doflamingo blocker. Putting 1 on our Luffy, going 7 into 5. They do take that hit. Using leader effect again, we're going to play out the Doflamingo rested and then play out the Rosinante. Putting 2 Dawn onto Law here, making it a 4K, which was a misplay, and then going 5 into life. Passing it to the opponent, they did counter out. They're still at 2 life, we're at 4. They have 6 cards in hand. Here they're going to play their Gravity Blade, removing both of our blockers from the field to the bottom of the deck. Putting the remaining Dawn on their Boa leader, pressuring 6 into our Luffy. We're going to give it a 2K just so we can keep bodies on field. Drawing into a 2K Sanji. So now we're going to put 5 onto our Law and go 7 into life. They're going to counter out there. We're going to go 8 with our Luffy, or 9, sorry. They take that hit, and then we're going to go 7 with Limb. And they give up the blocker. Passing it back to the opponent. They're at 10 Dawn now. Boa's going to go 5 into life here. We're going to take that, just trying to get some more card options. Here plays the Kaido, putting both cards back into our hand. Drawing into a 2K Sanji. Debating what we want to do here. They have 1 life, we have 3 life. So we're going to play out Adios right now. Keep the 9. So if we have enough counter in hand that we could potentially protect it. And put 3 on our Limb leader, going 8 into 5. Leaving 1 Dawn open. We're going to pass that over, leaving that 1 Dawn open. They're going to play a Red Rock, putting the Audios to the bottom of the deck. Audio. And putting 3 on their leader, going 8 into 5 here. Give them a 2/2Ks. And we're going to take this Kaido hit. They're going to play out a Law blocker. Alright, so we got a Rosinati blocker. Back to us. We're going to play out our Law Searcher, just so we have a rested body, so we can... since we drew into that Luffy, we're going to attempt to rest their Law and go for game here. Can't grab anything off the search. So we're going to use our leader effect just to cheat that Luffy out, resting their blocker and putting the remaining Dawn onto our leader here, making it an 11k swing into life. So here we have Lim and Shanks. Opponent choosing to go second. Keeping our opening hand here, we're going to play out that Law Search, getting a 2k Sanji, and then passing it over. Opponent just passes it back to us. We're at 3 Dawn now. Gonna attack with the 2k, just to get a rested character into the Shanks. And now we're gonna attack with Lim. Assuming they're gonna use leader effect. They did. Now we're gonna use Lim effect to bring out our Doflamingo blocker, and since we now had 2 rested characters, Doflamingo will ready. Passing it to the opponent, they're at 4 Dawn. So they play out Lucky Roo here. And then they're going to go 5 into life. Give them a 1k. And now they pass it back up to us. We have 2 Luffys. Luffy's pretty good. We just got to play it right. So we're going to attack with the Law just to get a rested character. Now we'll play out the Luffy next. And that'll allow us to rest their Lucky Roo. Using Lim's effect to cheat out Luffy. Getting a rested Dawn. Putting Luffy out, resting Lucky Roo. And now we're going to go with a 7k swing with our Doflamingo blocker into life. Opponent counters out here. So we're going to go 7 again. They did use their leader effect on the Doflamingo. They do take this hit. Wait to see if they want to resolve an effect. Or their trigger effect here. They do for some reason. It gives minus 3,000 for the turn, so they might have misread that. I just pass it back to them. They're at 6 Dawn. They have 6 cards in hand. We're down to 4 cards in hand, 4 life. So they're going to put 1 on their Shanks here. Going 6 into the Luffy. We're going to give them a 1k. Keep that around. Now they have 5 Dawn to work with. They're going to play out their ace. And back to us. Another Luffy, which is great. So we're going to go with that 2k Law. If the opponent's going to ignore the Law, we're going to use it because it won't threaten their Lucky Roo if they choose to block and then try to KO something. Now we're going to use leader effect here. Resting the Lucky Roo. Going 9 into with Doflamingo. The opponent still hasn't used leader effect this turn yet, so they could put it on. They can use that at this point if they choose to. The opponent takes the hit. We're going to go 8 with our Luffy. Pressuring 8 into life here. So they do use their leader effect here on this Luffy, making it a 7k swing. 7. And it looks like they're going to give us a 2k and something else. And a 1k. And now we have a 6k swing with leader. Forcing another 2k or life. They give us the life. And we pass it over to them with our Doflamingo readying itself. So in the hand, we still have 2 of our 2k Sanji blockers and another Luffy. We got lucky here. We were able to continuously deploy Luffy's resting that Lucky Roo. As long as they're going to leave this Law alone, we're going to use it as a way to get a second rested character to rest their Lucky Roo and pressure through. Opponent deploys Ben Beckman, getting rid of our Doflamingo blocker with its on-play effect. Here the opponent is going to swing their ace, targeting life, Getting them a 2K. They're going to go 5 into life with their leader. We're going to take this hit. Getting a 2K ace from life. And they just pass it back to us. We did draw an audio, but we're going to go back with that law. If they're not going to pressure it, we're going to use it. And now we can go with our leader effect if we wish to. First, we're going to play out audio, getting 3 Dawn back. Now we can use leader effect to play out the Luffy, resting their Lucky Roo. And now, depending if I want to use the 1 Dawn or not, but we're going to go 6 into life here, forcing a 2K out of hand, or they can use their leader effect in a 1K. So they use their leader effect on the first swing, and then they counter out. We have another 6K swing here with Luffy. Now they'll need to give us a 2K worth of counter. They take that hit. And we're going to go 5 with our leader here. So they didn't counter out of that. We still left our 1 Dawn open for audio effect. So they're going to go 6 with their ace. We're not going to use the effect yet for audio, because we have 2K we can counter out with. Now they're going to go Ben Beckman. Now we're going to use the effect and give them another 2K just to protect our life. Because with 10 Dawn, they could have all kinds of like Shanks, Goldie Roger. We don't want to give them the chance to steal the game on us. So they have a Lucky Roo swing if they want it. They're going to go use their leader swing for 5. We got to take that one. And now they're going to go Lucky Roo. We're going to give them that counter up. Opponent here deploys Goldie Roger. 13K rush. And if either you or your opponent's at 0 life and your opponent activates blocker, you win the game. So 13 going into our life here. We're just going to get this, keep it in hand. It's like Gamma Knife. Opponent passes it back to us here. We get the 2K Sanji. So at this point, we just need to get a good swing in. So we're going to go put all 10 on audio and go 19K into life and see what the opponent has. Alright, here we have Lim versus Dofy. We take a mulligan here. We do choose to go first. So we got 2 Limb Searchers, a Sanji 2K, an Usopp, and a Doflamingo blocker. Just getting a Dawn, passing it to the opponent. The opponent plays out at Buggy. Passes it back to us. On our turn, we're at 3 Dawn now. So we're going to swing with leader, going 5 into life. And then we'll use our leader effect to put down the Rosinati blocker. Opponent sitting at 4 Dawn now. They go 5 into the Rosinati blocker. It readies, and we're going to give it a 2K to keep it alive. They're going to play out a Jinbei into a Law, bouncing the Rosinati blocker back to hand, and passing it back to us. Sitting at 6 Dawn now, we're going to go 5 into life with our leader. Going to use our leader effect here, put down a blocker, put down the other blocker, pass it back. So the Doflamingo does ready himself. Opponent's going to go 5 into life with their Jinbei. I'm going to give him a 1K here. Go 5 again. Going to take this one, get a 2K counter. Now they're going to play Jinbei into Weevil. And putting the last 2 Dawn, going 7. We're going to give them our Rosinati blocker here. So we're at 9 Dawn already. We're going to put 2 on Lim. We're going to go 7 into the rested Jinbei. So they do counter out. So we're going to put 1 on the Doflamingo and go into the Law here. They counter out of that as well. So we're going to use leader effect to put down a Limb Searcher, grabbing another Doflamingo blocker. And we're just going to hard cast the other Limb Searcher, getting an audio. Passing it back, we're going to use our effects so that we can ready at least one of our limbs and our Doflamingo blocker. Opponent's going to put 1 on Weevil, go 7 into life here. We're going to give him a 2 and a 1. Opponent's going to add 2 more to their Jinbei, going 7 into 5. We're going to take this one. 6 with their Law. We're going to give them a 2K. And then they're going to go 1 on Jinbei, going 6. We're going to give them another 2K here. And then they'll have enough for their leader with effect. So 7 into 5 here, we have to take this one or use our blocker. We're going to take it. We do get a Sabo. Back to us. 10 Dawn here. We're going to put 2. We're going to try to control their board here. We're going to go 8 with our Doflamingo into their Weevil. 7 into their Jinbei. 7 more into Jinbei again. We're going to put all 4 and go into their Law. 9 into 5. And just passing it back. We're going to ready 1 limb in our Doflamingo blocker. Opponent's sitting at 10 Dawn now. They're going to run a Gravity Blade, putting a limb into Doflamingo at the bottom of the deck, going 5 into life. We're going to give them a counter. And then they're going to go 8. We're going to give them both of our 2Ks here. So back to us. We're going to drop down the audio. And we're going to go 7 with our limb character. We're going to go into that crocodile, see if we can clear that off the board. We do. We're going to go 1 on limb, going 6k into life. Opponent gives that life up. We just pass it back to him. Opponent's going to put 2 on their Doflamingo and just go 7 into life here. We are going to use our audio effect and our 2k. We're at 1 life. The opponent's at 2. Depending on how the opponent, what the opponent plays out here, we might be able to go for game next turn. They do have 6 cards. They're going to play out a Gecko, getting a Jinbei back from trash. They're going to play out a Jinbei and a Law, which is going to bounce back our limb. So now we can't go. We're going to attempt to still pressure. We're going to play out the limb here, trying to find another character. We did get the Razanati. We're going to deploy that out. And then we're going to put 3 on our character, or on our leader limb, and then go 9 with audio first. And then we're going to go 8 with our leader. Opponent's at 0 life. We're at 1. We only have the Gamma Knife in hand, so there's no counter there. We did leave ourselves 1 Dawn open for audio. So they're going to go 7. We're going to ready our Razanati. And we're going to use the blocker here. They're going to go 7 again with Jinbei. Nope, they decided to go 9. No reason using the card effect. So we take that last hit. It's a 1k. I think I put their last Dawn on leader. We're going to get 7, 8 counter here. That's all we got. The Gamma Knife didn't do anything. I did leave this in here because it was a really good match. Alright, Renegades, thanks for watching. Deck profile will be in the description. We do have a Discord community as well, trying to grow the channel. So any help subscribing, sharing, liking, commenting goes a long way in helping the channel grow. So we'll see you guys in the next one.